Hi, lovies. It's Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast. I know I've been gone for a while. I did, in fact, have oral surgery actually twice, so it has slowed me down a bit. So I'm catching up with these last two episodes of season 4. Today we're going to talk about Native American religion, spirituality, and mysticism. We are familiar with a lot of Native American traditions. We're also going to tackle some, misconceptions. Also, some of the cruel things that are, circulated out in mainstream media about Native Americans and their religion and, culture altogether. But I really just want to focus on some of the common things and some of the uncommon things that are known about Native American spirituality and mysticism. The first question that comes up is, within Native American spirituality, is there witchcraft? Is there deity worship? Well, in Native American culture, in fact, there is. They are not very, conservative about their spirituality. In fact, in Native American culture, they are very confident and very expressive about spirituality, the spirit world, gods, goddesses, spirits, demons, positive and negative energies. They are a very ritualistic culture where everything requires singing, dancing. You may be familiar with Native American powwows, which are held during, mostly the changing of the seasons, ritualistic ceremonies for weddings, births, victories, or even initiating, war, or even transitioning from girlhood and boyhood to manhood and womanhood. So these are common ritual that are held during different times of the year, different times in your life. When we think of spirituality and Native American culture, I would say the two main things that pop into our head would be the Native American rain dance to make it rain, right? To appease the rain gods, to make it rain, especially because Native American culture has been pushed out to the desert where it does not rain very often and where they would need to call upon higher sources to make it rain because there is a belief that deities do in fact control the weather, that they are very much in touch with nature and humans and their needs. And the second thing that would come in mainstream society is burning sage. Sage is probably the most Native American spiritual thing you can do. It is, in fact, something that has been circulated in mainstream society throughout all of Norse pagan occult cultures and rituals and hoodoo and voodoo cultures to use to banish negative energy and replace it with positive energy. It is one of their most famous, folklore tale and spiritual instruments. So it is the most famous spiritual instrument, Palo Santo and sage. Different types of sage, you can use lavender sage, regular sage, and dragon's blood sage is also very popular as well. So a lot of these things originate from Native American culture. One thing you might be shocking to learn is that even saying grace in the Christian religion and the Christian culture actually came from Native American day-to-day rituals. To always be grateful and have gratitude that you are able to, in fact, eat today, that day, and to thank, obviously a higher power for whatever and everything that you have or had. Showing gratitude is, in fact, one of the largest, biggest, most important things in Native American spirituality, that once you give thanks, that you will receive more things to be thankful for. Another open expression of Native American spirituality is that there are 23 acknowledged genders in the culture. You might be familiar with a term called two-spirited, which is acknowledgement that one person can in fact inhabit two spirits, the female and the male, traits, gender, or characteristics, that we have adopted that today as to being either, non-binary or technically transgender. Not to say you have two personalities, but a person who is openly feminine and openly masculine at the same time. Just to jump around a bit, I mean, as of today, there are 574 recognized Native American tribes. That is huge. That is huge for a culture that is technically almost extinct and not only openly spiritual, but they don't have exactly a book of their religion or a book of their spirituality. It is one of those things that is passed down, from generation to generation. When it comes to, worshiping gods, they do believe in many, many gods, not just one. They do believe there is a one source, yes, but there's a god over the trees, there's a god over the sky, there's the sun god, there's the god over the rain. There's a god or deity for everything that's in motion or everything that is working and moving in the universe. There's a god over our, senses, is a god over our will, is a god over our discipline. It is very integrated with keeping spirituality in every single part of life, which I think is a very beautiful, very admirable, way to live, where it's like you have to acknowledge the spiritual, no matter what you do, no matter where you're going, in every situation. Also, when it comes to honoring ancestors, no stronger culture than the Native Americans express this. It is in many Native American, proverbs and wise words that to be grateful for what we have is also to be grateful for people who have come before us, people who have taken care of us to then later on take care of them. It is a cycle of karma, so to speak, because Native American culture does in fact believe in karma, understanding, life after death, understanding that, we do in fact come back. So we must always have respect for each other. We all should be living in the supreme peace, ultimate peace, or universal peace, harmony, and always working with something, always understanding the higher good, understanding the bigger picture. It is a really amazing, high level of consciousness to be on, which is insanely advanced. You might even be familiar with Native American sweat lodges. These were originally used to purge negativity out of the body, purge negative spirits from being around you, like purge a haunting, or purge negative habits. It's really like a physical, metaphysical purging, where it would take place with fire. You would pray, you would sweat. Like the sweat would be the manifestation of whatever it is you're trying to get off of you, would come off, come out, go away. Associating it with cleansing, clearing, and moving forward, or also not giving your physical body all the power, understanding that there is more working with you and also so much spiritually working through you. It's another way of connecting with nature. Native American culture is very connected with nature, spirits, spirit animals specifically, definitely expressed through the feathers, the hats that are worn by the chief, the powwows where there be feathers all over, the garments, the shoes, understanding the value, especially for birds, taking flight and getting to a higher place. Birds are in fact one of the most sacred animals of the Native American, religion, culture, spirituality. Understanding that a bird is flying over obstacles, your spirit is always a constant flying object, not touchable, but flying and source all around you. Also, that your ancestors are always flying or hovering above you, and that the gods and goddesses, are physically above us. Flying of like birds, and also watching over us, that everything is happening for a reason. This is expressed also in dream catchers. That's why the dream catcher is placed above your head, as if it's a flying bird above your head, protecting you, keeping you from having bad dreams. While you're sleeping, that these birds, so to speak, spiritually are watching over to keep these negative energies away from you while you sleep, because during sleep obviously is like one of your most vulnerable times. Another interesting thing about Native American spirituality are these things called vision quests. Vision quests are when either a parent takes their child out into the woods to help them grow as a person, learn how to physically survive, but also going into the woods to see if they were to have a vision or a feeling or some type of enlightening experience that will understand their life's purpose, understand a message that is trying to be sent through from the deities, the gods, or even the ancestors. This helps people find their purpose, in their community, in their family, and just their purpose in life, what their occupation should be, or what it is they're really called to do. That these vision quests are ordained by higher benevolent spirits, that give everyone basically their title, and write out their destiny, so to speak. It's like they go and find their own destiny, not necessarily just being told what it is. You go and actually look for yourself. Unlike most, mainstream religions where you're told to do and have already set a standard to who you're supposed to be, Native Americans really are open to you searching. And that's the only way you are going to find what it is you need. The only way you're ever going to get or obtain what it is that you need. That your footwork is very important to the manifestation of your success. So it's really the doing is what, gets the results. And last but not least, we will come to one of the most mainstream spiritual conceptions about Native American culture is marijuana and the peace pipe, smoking, and also tobacco, the value of smoking. Now, mainstream society in America, the cigarette, has been replaced with thousands of deadly cancerous chemicals. However, Native Americans would smoke marijuana and smoke tobacco, not only to relax, their lungs or whatever, but in a very healthy way, smoke to do rituals, okay, to put the physical body in a state of mind or state of being to connect better with higher powers that were not contained in the body. They believe that they would have to ingest the smoke of tobacco being a very valuable asset, being a very valuable plant, not just for smoking, but also as an offering. Tobacco is actually still offered in a lot of Wiccan, pagan, Hoodoo, Norse cultures and the occult to offer to ancestors. It's one of the most, valuable things you could offer, because it does in fact transmute into smoke, which is like manifested into that world. So ingesting it would be like to be one with the spirit. And the main goal was to, in fact, invoke peace. Not only peace, but also prosperity. To continue to honor your ancestors, venerate them, make them one with you, physically one with you, one with the group. And smoking of marijuana was to, put yourself in that induced state to communicate with spirits accurately. To communicate with them is like leaving your body, so to speak. For those of us who do, in fact, smoke marijuana, to understand that it puts you in a state of peace, and it puts you in a state of calm. And it is to invoke hallucinations. It is to invoke those visions. It's also to invoke, that peace within, to always be present with the peace within. So these are just some, Native American spiritual, conceptions, some misconceptions, corrected a few, just understanding them better. I really guys hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you in the next episode where we talk about Ukrainian and Slavic magic. Once again, it's Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. All right, bye.